Aswand Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. First and foremost, prayers and condolences, sincere condolences to all of the ones who are affected, or the loved ones, the actual loved ones, the ones that knew Trey Nichols intimately or got to know, knew the kind of man he was. Prayers and condolences. It's absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting what not only myself, but the world had to witness in that video. Absolutely disgusting, all right? Point number one. Here's my next point. Here's the next thing that I've said it so many times, I'm almost tired of hearing myself say it. It's so fucking ridiculous. It's so fucking sad. Before I even get started on my rant today, all right, I want to encourage everyone, black, white, blue, green, yellow, Mexican, whatever it is. I want to encourage every single person who happens to be listening to me right now. I want to encourage all of you to go and get a copy of the book titled $40 Million Slaves, $40 Million Slaves by William C. Roden. I read this book, right? It was my last semester in college, which means it was over 10 years ago, and everything that was said in that book is still relevant today. It's still very, very relevant, all right? The line in that book that has stuck with me for over 10 years now is, I believe, Larry Johnson, former NBA superstar, was getting interviewed, and he was asked, I don't know how it was being asked, I don't even know the context of the interview. He was asked what happened to our black men coming together, what happened to the movement that we used to have as black men, the pride that we had in ourselves as black men. And his answer was very simple. 3 words: niggas got jobs. His answer was a 3-word answer. He goes, niggas got jobs. When I think about what happened or what we witnessed, you get 5 actually. It was 5 black police officers, a black head of staff. I mean, every person out, the entire department was all black. It was black men. It was 5 black men. 5 black men who beat another black man to death. They beat him to death, okay? And this is the kind of shit he was talking about. Understand, I mean, this is a whole 24 hours since I had to watch that shit. And I try my best to be empathetic. I try my best to figure out what the fuck can possibly go through a person's mind to beat a person. It's 5 against 1. 5 against 1. 5 against 1. What can possibly go through a person's mind to say that that's okay? Why wouldn't one person stop it? That's bullshit, man. Come on. All right. And as I try to think about it, as I try to make sense of the situation, all right? You look at these 5 cops, and let's just do a day-to-day. Let's try to put ourselves in these cops' shoes, right? You are 5 black men who are supposedly professional men, supposedly the ones who have jobs, secure jobs. You're men in uniform. You have a secure position. I know you're not making a ton of money, but you're a police officer, and there's obviously a process. There's testing. There's all sorts of things you have to do to become a police officer. So you get looked at as one of these black men that actually made it, by the young kids coming up, or the other black folks who are homeless, who are struggling, or who are whatever doing, going through whatever they're going through. These 5 black men, for 365 days out of the year, they wake up and they get looked at as if they are people who uplift our community, are people who are here to protect and serve our community. They're people who are the ones who, as young black men, we should aspire to be like. That's how these 5 dudes get looked at. That's what we would say if we were just, again, going off what we see on a surface level. And this kind of shit happens. And the only thing I have to say, man, listen, the only thing I have to say, again, and I've ranted about this over and over. You could listen to my podcast. I have gone through it. I've lived brutality myself. I've lived brutality. It was by a white person. Obviously, I was, thankfully, I'm still alive, but I've lived situations like this myself. I'm a victim of these kinds of situations. And the only thing, and it was by 2 white people. the only thing I have to say when it comes to, you know, all the shit that we saw yesterday is black men specifically. We're talking specifically to black men, which is myself and tons of people who keep up with my work. All of you, black men. That's it. There's absolutely nothing else left to be said. The only thing that we can trust is God. That's it. That's it. The only thing left for us to trust, the only actual thing left for us to trust is God. That's it. We cannot trust anything else but God. Our walk of faith has to be so tight, so absolutely airtight that there's no, like, that's it. The only thing we get to trust is God. We don't get to trust white. We don't get to trust black. We don't get to trust women. We don't get to trust our very own kids. We don't get to trust. We have to trust God. We have to walk out on faith every single day and just trust God is going to take us where it is we're supposed to be. Not where we want to be, but where we're supposed to be. I'll never forget, and I'll close you out with this because it's been last summer and the whole year, right? I met this lady. I won't put her name out there, but she's easily my favorite of all the women I have met in this past year. All right, easily my favorite woman. I'm not gonna put her name out there. I'm not gonna put her on blast like that. But I do have to tell her story because she was my favorite. She was recently divorced, just moved to Palm Beach from, I believe, Port St. Lucie or something like that. And, you know, was able to get her own house, get her own shit together. And she and I, it was myself, one of her friends. We went out one night we just caught up. We were talking business or whatever. And, you know, we talked business, but at the end of the day, we knew it was, you know, it was kind of a social event. And the one thing she asked me, and this is a woman who's fresh off a divorce. The one thing she asked me, she goes, I want to meet a godly man. I want to meet a godly man. And I swear, you know, those words hit home. Those words hit home, especially after a day, of where I had to watch that shit yesterday. And I mean, I'm still fucked up about it. I still think it's fucking wrong. I don't even know if I even have the words to describe. I just know the only thing as black men, the only thing left for us as black men to trust is God. So that's it. That's today's Move Swiftly thought. Everyone out there, if you want to dive deeper into my work, it's makeyourmove.com. That's makeyourmove.com. Aswand Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.